First, I'm going to share with you my actual sales numbers, including all my Amazon FBA fees and some surprising costs with Amazon nobody talks about. Then I'm going to share with you every single mistake I've made on Amazon, including the biggest mistake I've made on Amazon, probably the biggest mistake I've made in my life. So if you watch any part of this video, please pay attention to this part because it could save you tens of thousands of dollars. I'm even going to share with you what my product was and what my next product will be, which I know most people don't do, but I want to be completely honest, completely transparent with you so you can learn from my mistakes. And finally, after all of that, I'm going to show you step by step my method for selling on Amazon because I do things a little bit different. And even though I made a lot of mistakes in these last 2 years, I still did over $250,000 profit, which is something I'm really proud of. And I did that in these last 2 years while traveling and actually enjoying my life for the first time in a long time. So let's get started first with my actual sales number. In these last 2 years, I did over $800,000 in revenue. Now, revenue is not profit. When people want to brag about how good their business is doing, they talk about revenue. But there's a lot of costs associated with running a business, especially an Amazon business. And one of the first costs I had was the cost of my product, the cost of the physical product. And I spent over $200,000 manufacturing all the products that I sold on Amazon. On top of that, there's the Amazon FBA pick and pack fee. This is the fee for you to store your products in the Amazon warehouse, and when you get a sale on Amazon, Amazon will pick your product out from its warehouse and ship it out to the customer. And that for me was a little over $100,000 in Amazon FBA pick and pack fees. There's also the Amazon FBA selling fee. And for anybody selling on the Amazon platform, there's a 15% charge. And I spent over $100,000 in Amazon FBA selling fees as well. On top of these costs, there's just other fees associated with selling on Amazon. In total, I had around $30,000 of other Amazon fees. This includes things like storage fees and just other random miscellaneous expenses. Another thing that a lot of people don't talk about is marketing cost. And one of the best ways to market your products to increase your sales is Amazon's built-in PPC. And I spent around $40,000 in PPC. Now, keep in mind, this is an optional thing. You don't have to do this, but what I found is for every dollar I'd spend, I'd make $3 in profit. So for me, it was definitely worth doing Amazon PPC. On top of all these other costs with selling on Amazon, I spent probably around $18,000 in these last 2 years just running my business. This went towards things like LLC fees, just different random expenses. And one of the big ones for me was I actually have a team of virtual assistants. So this went towards paying my virtual assistants in the Philippines. So at the end of the day, when you calculate all my costs in these last 2 years, I've done about a little over $250,000 profit. And I do things a little bit differently. I don't private label. I actually created a pretty unique product. And so because of that, I'm able to sell my product on Shopify as well. And on Shopify, I did about $60,000 revenue, about $25,000 profit. Now I want to share with you the biggest mistake I've made on Amazon in just a minute. But I've made probably every single mistake on Amazon that you can. And the reason I'm making this video is so you can learn from my mistakes. And please pay attention because this video could save you tens of thousands of dollars. This is the product I sell on Amazon. And the first round of production I did, the manufacturer actually didn't include a tear notch, which meant I had to hire people to go in and clip the tear notch in every single pouch individually. This cost me about $2,000. In the next production run I did, the pouches, a bunch of them were actually leaking. And so I had to hire people to clean all the different pouches and had to throw away a bunch of the leaky pouches because they were ruined. This cost me about $5,000. And overall, there's just been a ton of other different production, manufacturing issues that have cost me a lot of money. In total, around $18,000. These are things like film being damaged, my manufacturer not telling me the correct number of units of certain different materials to order, and just a bunch of different things that have gone wrong. And one of the biggest lessons I learned from this is make sure you get in writing who is responsible when things go wrong with the manufacturing process. I ended up having to pay for a lot of the issues that happen with manufacturing because I didn't have a contract with my manufacturer. I also made a lot of mistakes on the Amazon platform itself. One of the biggest ones I made early on was running out of inventory. Make sure you do not do this. This mistake cost me about $3,000. Another mistake I made recently that cost me $10,000 is I sent in 2 pallets of my product into Amazon, and Amazon lost one of the pallets. That pallet was worth at least $10,000 to me. And this was my fault because usually if Amazon loses your product, they will reimburse you in full for it. But I had someone helping me send in my products into Amazon. And when Amazon comes to your warehouse or the trucking company comes to your warehouse or your house to pick up the pallets, to pick up your product, they will give you a receipt. This receipt is called the bill of lading. And I didn't tell the person that was helping me with sending my products into Amazon how important this is. So the receipt is somewhere, I'm not sure where, but if I could find that receipt, it would save me $10,000 because Amazon would reimburse me for the missing pallet. Now I did make one other mistake that led to my sales being cut in half last month, and I'll talk about that later in this video, but this leads me to the biggest mistake I've made on Amazon. And this one mistake has cost me over $120,000. And this is the most common mistake I see new Amazon FBA sellers making. And if you've been in business for a long time, or if you've been selling on Amazon for a long time, comment down below and let me know what is the biggest mistake you've made so that we can learn from each other. My biggest mistake I've made on Amazon is waiting to launch my second product. And my second product is gonna be a cacao version of my original product. And the reason this has cost me $120,000 is I believe this product will do at least $10,000 profit every month. And I had originally planned on releasing this product a year ago. And so if that product would have been selling for a year straight, I would have made over $120,000. But the thing that held me back and the thing that holds back most new Amazon FBA sellers is fear. Honestly, I was terrified about making a mistake or having to pay a bunch of random fees, and I have made a lot of mistakes. I spent about $9,000 in product research, like trying to perfect the flavor of my new product before my manufacturer told me, oh, actually, sorry, the cacao that I was using for the flavor, he said, sorry, you're not allowed to use that. So I had to completely start from scratch. Even if I would have made ridiculously big mistakes, tens of thousands of dollars worth of mistakes, but I would have released this product earlier, I still would have made profits of tens of thousands of dollars. And that's one of the big lessons I have for you is speed of implementation. Get your Amazon product out. Fear paralyzes a lot of new sellers and people that have been selling on Amazon for a while, but I think this is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. One thing I've noticed over and over again is my biggest failures have led to my biggest successes. And this is honestly how I started my Amazon business. For instance, right out of college, I got a corporate job. And about a year into my corporate job, I was completely depressed because I realized even if I worked my butt off, at the end of the year, I'd get a 3, 4, 5% raise. There was no incentive for me to work hard. So I honestly started hating my life, hating my job. And then I read the book, The 4-Hour Workweek, which made me realize if I could make $300 a day, passive income, I could live my dream life. I could travel, I could work just a few hours a week and actually really enjoy life. But instead of jumping at this opportunity I found out about, I kept working the corporate job that was completely soul-sucking. It felt like I was locked in jail. And every day that went by, I got more and more depressed until I hit what was the lowest point of my life. And this failure led to me having the courage to be able to quit my job, to be able to attempt to live my dream life. So I quit my job cold turkey and tried to start an online dance clothing company with my mom. Now, I didn't have passion for dance clothing. I didn't know anything about how to dance. I just wanted a way to make money online so I could travel and attempt to live my dream life. So overnight, I went from making $80,000 a year down to nothing. And these next few months were the hardest months of my life. I had an insane amount of anxiety. Every morning I'd wake up and it felt like a bear had jumped into my room. That's how bad my heart was racing. And I spent the next several years struggling trying to make money online. At one point, I even had to move back in with my parents, which was a huge blow because I went from such a good paying corporate job to moving back in with my parents. That's when I realized I don't want to sell dance clothing anymore. Honestly, writing articles about the top 7 tips for dancers, trying to pretend like I was an 18-year-old girl was draining. I didn't care about dance clothing or the dance space. What I wanted to do was create a product that I was passionate about, sell something that I actually believed in, that I was actually interested in. And that was about the time I heard about Amazon. And I met all these different people that were making ridiculous amounts of money on Amazon. So I started thinking about what kind of product could I create? And at the time, I was eating a lot of healthy fat, a lot of nut butters. Specifically, I started out with like regular peanut butter, then I went to like an organic peanut butter, then an almond butter. But I realized something. There was no ultra high-end, premium, healthy fat on the go product. And that's when I got the idea to create my product. It's a macadamia coconut cashew blended nut butter, and as I showed you earlier, it comes in a little pouch. And because it was a unique product and I had no idea how to manufacture something like this, first I started out with an Instagram. I started telling people, hey, I have this idea, I want to create this product. And then from there, I had a little link in my bio with an email capture. So I told people, if you're interested in learning more, put your email in here. Then I would talk to people back and forth via email, and I got everybody, including my friends, family, everybody I knew, into a Facebook launch group. And this launch group was full of people that were gonna be potential customers for my product. In that launch group, I would post things like different logo ideas, and everybody in the group would give me feedback on what's the best logo. I'd post things like my packaging design, and they would give me feedback on how to improve my packaging design. And because I didn't have a ton of money to manufacture my product, I ended up launching my product as a Kickstarter. And on Kickstarter, I raised about $15,000. And to be honest, that wasn't enough money to pay for the first production run of my product. My product's actually really expensive. It costs around $30,000 per production run, which is a lot more than most Amazon FBA products. So I ended up cashing out my 401k. I put every last drop of energy, every last drop of money, savings, everything I had into this product. And a few months later, it took a few months to actually manufacture the product. And I'm gonna be honest with you, during this time, I had so much fear, so much anxiety. I was so scared about what could go wrong. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of stuff has gone wrong with me on manufacturing. But then the day finally came and I launched my product on Amazon. And the first month I did about $15,000 in revenue. 2 months of launching my product on Amazon, I was doing $30,000 a month in revenue. I'd hit my goal of making $300 a day passive income. And before I go any further, I honestly think typical private labeling is dead for 3 reasons: oversaturation, China, and Amazon Basic. There's just way too many people doing private labeling on Amazon. It's become oversaturated. On top of that, China is now selling a lot of their private label products directly on Amazon, cutting out and undercutting all the private labelers that are selling on Amazon already. And the third reason is, even if you're really lucky and you do find a profitable private label product, Amazon will find your product, they'll copy it, they'll make their own Amazon Basics version of it, and they'll be able to sell their product cheaper than you can sell your product for. And of course, they're gonna rank #1 for searches for the keyword you're trying to go after. And I'll be honest, it took me 5 years of struggling, 5 years of selling products I didn't care about before I realized that I needed to sell a product that I was passionate about, something that I believed in. And it made the whole process so much easier. It made making money online a lot easier for me. So I think the future of Amazon is creating unique products, creating products that you believe in, things that you're passionate about. And I really believe that creating passion products is the future of Amazon. And over the course of these last 2 years selling this product on Amazon, my sales have stayed steady right around that $30,000 revenue mark. And this leads to the biggest lesson I've learned on Amazon. But first, there is one other mistake that led to my sales recently getting cut in half. I have one competitor where the owner of that company has $100 million. He sold a previous company for around $100 million. And to be honest, this company is a bit of a bully. They recently undercut me on price and they're selling their product at a loss. They used to sell their product at around $35 and they recently discounted it down to $26, which is just a little bit below my subscribe and save price, which I have to think they did on purpose. And I know for a fact that they're losing money on every product they sell because I know what it costs to manufacture their product. I know about how much they're spending on marketing. And on top of this, the owner of the company, he's not doing the work himself. He has to pay employees. I'm doing the work myself. So I save money in that regard. And once I calculated all the fees, I know that they're losing money on every single transaction. But the owner of the company doesn't care. He's got enough money on the bank. Basically, he can just keep going at a loss until he runs the competitors out of business. And I honestly just can't compete with how much money he can spend on marketing. Even though I'm complaining, that's just how business works. And I do have some plans on how to actually beat them, how to increase my sales back up. And I'm gonna share step by step how I'm going to do this in future videos. So make sure to hit that subscribe button to follow my journey in trying to increase my sales back up. And even though my sales dropped in half as soon as he undercut my price, it's still my fault that my sales dropped. I should have launched my performance nut butter cacao a long time ago. And if I would have done that, it would have helped keep my sales a lot more steady. And here's the truth about Amazon FBA. Despite me making a ridiculously huge amount of mistakes, I still made a lot of money off Amazon. In just a minute, I'm gonna share with you step by step my formula for selling on Amazon. But here's the beautiful thing about Amazon. As I mentioned, I hit my goal of $300 a day passive income about 2 years ago, and it gave me the freedom to do what excited me. It gave me the freedom to do the things that I wanted to do. And this last year specifically, instead of focusing on Performance Nut Butter, my Amazon company, I spent a lot more time focused on this YouTube channel. Because to be honest, it excites me and I enjoy helping people like you. And it paid off. I went from making about $3,000 a month in about a year ago to now about $15,000 a month from things like ad revenue and affiliate commission. And that's not even including course sales, which I don't include because my Amazon FBA course/mentorship is free. All I ask for is a deposit, which is a refundable deposit. And so people get their money back as soon as they complete the course. So I don't include that in how much money I'm making from YouTube. And I firmly believe when you find yourself grinding and only getting that 3, 4, 5% increase in sales, like I was doing with Performance Nut Butter in my first year after launching, that's when you should quit and go do something that excites you. And Amazon gave me the ability to do that. These last 2 years have been some of the most fun years of my life. But now that my sales are dipping on Amazon, I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna put some more focus, some more attention on it. But my goal isn't to become the richest person in the world. My goal is to enjoy my life, to enjoy the journey, and help other people live their dream lives. It's because of Amazon that I'm able to live in my dream location. It's because of Amazon I can spend a Monday morning filming this video, doing something that I love. And if you're interested in learning my method for selling on Amazon step by step, I did a completely free YouTube video that you can get by just clicking right here. So remember to enjoy the journey, click on that video, and I'll see you in the next video.